Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I am going to be doing something a little bit different. I had discovered a new Dollar Tree. It's one of the bigger ones in our area, and they had lots of different adhesives. And you guys, I had never seen this many different selections at one Dollar Tree at one point in time, and there are even a couple new ones that I'd never seen. That is a Beacon brand at the Dollar Tree anyways. I know you can get Beacon brand like at Michael's or Joann's, but I found all of these at one Dollar Tree, and I thought I would just do a video testing them, trying them out, and using all of the different items that it says that it will glue, and then also trying some of them on just everyday paper crafting. That is what I do on this channel, a lot of paper crafting, mostly 95%. I also do other kinds of crafting as well, sewing and Dollar Tree DIYs and home decor. So yeah, I wanted to give it a try and just kind of show you what I am doing with them and see what your experiences are. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have tried all of these, which ones you like, which ones you don't like, and yeah, and maybe what the comparisons are. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be an E6000 sort of thing, fix all adhesive, so I was going to give that a try on some buttons. And yeah, just go ahead and try these all out and see how they work out.
Starting out with the two wood glues, there was the Super Glue brand that was from the hardware department, and then the Crafter Square, which was from the crafting section. So I'm just going to use a couple wood popsicle sticks that I have. I don't have any other wood products to use them on. I used the Crafter Square. It was a little runny and cloudy, but it still stuck together pretty well. You would have to put something heavy on the top of it because it kind of wrinkles because it is so wet. It says that you let it dry for 30 minutes and then a complete adhesion is after 24 hours. So we'll come back later and see how well that did. I moved on to the Elmer's glue. This was a little bit thicker and it was white, but it does dry clear, and it holds about just as the same as the other wood glue, and I believe this one said 24 hours as well. So we'll be back to see what those look like towards the end of the video. I'm going to also try gluing paper with it, because just in case you need some glue and you don't have any regular glue, you could use these possibly. I also used cardstock with these to see how it would perform with that. They both adhered very well. They are a bit watery, so you need to watch. Probably be best to use it with a cardstock. Now I'm moving on to the craft glues. One of them, it just says craft glues, Crafter Square. It says it's good on fabric. It says it takes 24 hours for complete adhesion. And then the other one is just the liquid adhesive from the crafting department as well, and it says it works well on fabric and all like wood and paper. It's a white glue, and then the other one is clear, obviously. So this one has a top that you can remove if you wanted to just use a whole bunch of glue, but you do have to cut that little top up there, and then it has a lid. This one has a lid that's attached, which was nice, and then you just have to cut off the top. I'm trying with cardstock for these as well as regular paper, like a 20-pound paper. Most of my crafting is paper crafting, so that's why I'm just trying to go through all these glues and test them on papers as well. So I'll try out this crafting glue here. Usually with a thinner paper, I like to smush around the glue and make it go all over the whole portion just so you don't see globs of glue through the paper. And then I like to put it underneath heavy flat books so that it dries nice and flat. I'm also going to try these out with some trim. I use a lot of trim in my journals, and usually I'm gluing it onto either cardstock or chipboard. So the liquid adhesive, it worked pretty well. It was watery. This clear glue though is a thicker glue, more like a tacky glue, which I use Lean's tacky glue all the time, and I like the thickness of it. So they both had a really fast adhesion, or like a bond with the regular paper. The cardstock took a little bit longer to dry to where you couldn't move the paper around. But I was happy with both of these glues. And then I also used the trim with that as well. I would use both of these glues. I tend to go for a thicker glue though. I also glue a lot of fabric down onto chipboard for my journals, so I tried that out with the fabric, and I usually like to spread the glue around and then put the fabric down. Both of these glues did really well with the fabric. It didn't seep through the top of the fabric, and this was a pretty standard thickness of fabric, like a cotton fabric that you could find at Joann's or Walmart, the fat quarter kind of fabric. So it didn't seep through or show any kind of discoloration or anything like that. The thinner papers were wrinkling up, so that would be something you need to think about. You would want to put something heavy over the top. So now I'm just going to test out the Jot white glue. It's kind of like the Elmer's glue version. I'm going to try it out with regular paper, cardstock, and fabric for the same. Now I have used this glue before, and I actually like it better than the Elmer's glue. But it worked great with the paper, or with the fabric. And then it also worked fine with the trim. This is a watery glue, just like that white craft glue. I think they're about the same thickness. So I would say that it performs the same as that craft glue in the thinner bottle there. Now I'm going to try out these three glues to glue down buttons. At the end, I will show you how well these did. Now, I would prefer the craft glue because it's just thicker, but you'll see at the end that all three actually worked well with the buttons. The next one I'm going to try out is this beacon glue. It is advertised for using with poster board and foam board. I'm not sure if this is a PVA glue or not. I have used a beacon glue called 3-in-1, and it was a really nice glue. It actually worked well with making cards and not having them wrinkle up. This does have an odor, so it makes me think that maybe it is a PVA glue though. I was going through the other glues there just to see how they smelled, and the beacon glue definitely has a different smell to it, so I'm not sure. I'm trying this out on my papers again, and then I'll also use it with the trims and everything. I have a piece of foam board, so I will also glue those two pieces together to see how well that performs. So far it sticks pretty well. It actually dries faster than the other glues do. And it doesn't seem to wrinkle as badly as the white glues do. I tried the fabric on this. I apologize for it being out of frame here. And then I have a piece of trim that I'm going to try. And I'm gluing both of these down onto the chipboard. I also use a button, and it seems to work well on everything that I glued down. So definitely any of these options I think would work well with your paper crafting. It would just be your preference on how thick of a glue that you like, and if you didn't like the odor of that beacon glue. The last glue that I'm trying out here is the Elmer's Fix-All glue, and this is, I believe, a dupe for E6000. It's not an actual, it is super glue brand, but it's not super glue that you can like accidentally stick your fingers together. So that was nice.
So the next glue I wanted to try was this All Adhesive. I actually had to refilm this portion of the video because I was totally out of frame. So I wanted to just show you what I did with this, and then at the end of the video you'll see the original pieces that I glued, but I just wanted to show you what I did. So I glued two metal pieces together, and what it says to do on here is to put glue on one side of what you're gluing and then glue on the other side of what you're gluing, and then wait 10 minutes, stick them together, and then you let them dry and cure for 24 hours. So I have two old buttons that are metal, so I'm going to put some on here. And this glue, it appears to be about the same thickness as the E6000. It has the same sort of odor to it. It smells about the same as E6000. I'm also going to do the same thing with two plastic buttons. I wanted to try it out on different surfaces. So plastic, metal, and then onto my chipboard here. So I'm just going to put some on this button and some on the top of this one. We'll wait 10 minutes for that. And then also I just wanted to see how it would work just by putting it on one surface and sticking it down. I'm just going to do it on the chipboard, since that's mainly what I use when I glue buttons or metal pieces or any kind of embellishment. I'm usually gluing it onto paper. So I imagine this would work for gluing onto fabric and probably glass. So if it is like an E6000, but It is the Super Glue Fix All Adhesive. And one thing I do like about this is that it is a smaller tube, and if you didn't notice with E6000, if you've ever used it, you can never get through like maybe half the bottle or the little tube. Usually the tube is about, I'd say about that big, and it costs around $5 or so, and I get about halfway through the tube and it gets super hard to push out. It starts coming out the sides, and the lid gets stuck to the top, and you have to use pliers to open it up. So I like that about, you know, having the smaller bottles that you can use, or smaller tubes, so you can use it up and you don't waste any of it. So alright, so you'll see at the end of this video how these like turn out. And the last thing I'm gonna do before I report on this Fix All adhesive is just stick together. It's been 10 minutes. It said to wait 10 minutes, and then you stick the two sides together. So I'll stick those and then stick the plastic buttons together. And then I will wait the 24 hours and report back to you in a minute.
The last glue I'm going to try out is this Beacon adhesive spray glue. I don't typically like to use spray glues because it is so messy, so I need to bring in a small little box here to try this out. So I'm going to spray on some regular paper, and it does come out in blobs. It's just not an even spray. That was just regular paper, and now I'm going to try it on cardstock. See how uneven it is? It seems like it bonds, but it's just very wet, so I definitely wouldn't use it on just regular paper or cardstock even. Probably what I would use it on would be like cardboard, or just, I don't know. You just can't control it, so seems like it works, but just very messy. I also wanted to try using this with a big piece of fabric. I just wanted to see how well it worked, because usually when I glue my fabrics down, I take my tacky glue and I smush it around with my finger all over the cover. So I wanted to try this. See, it comes out in different blobs, so I don't know. It does kind of seep through when I push it down, so I wouldn't probably use this. It's just hard to control. It does a good job of adhering. You do need to let it sit for a while before it dries. So I guess that's good in the fact that if you were a little off on when you placed your item down, you could pull it up and, you know, before it totally dried. I was looking there to see if it had a drying time, but I don't believe it did. After letting it dry for a few minutes, it does dry to the point where you can't pull it up anymore, but as you can see it through the fabric, which that would not be something I would want to do. So I would definitely stick to using this with heavier pieces like cardboard or poster board, and to where you would need it for a big section, I would spray it outside or into a box.
It is the following day, and I just wanted to look over the items that I did with the fix-all and just see how it works. As I said before, it is kind of like the E6000. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Wow, it does work. So these were the two metal buttons. They had metal bottoms, and I put glue on each side and then let them dry for 10 minutes and then stuck them together, and now they're pretty strong there. As well as the plastic buttons, same thing. It dried clear, so that was nice. So the ones that I put down with directly on, they have a really strong bond too. So well, I think it was just this one here that I did with like just putting it on the button and then pressing it down on the paper. So that definitely works on paper. And I was gonna review the wood too, because these were the ones that said they had to dry. That's really strong. I can't really do anything to get it apart there. This one, same thing. It didn't dry flat because it did pop up a little bit there, but the part that was flat, really strong. And let's see, this was one that said it needed 24 hours to dry too, but that was for washing. So these all seem to be really strong. So I think these glues definitely worth the $1 if you know. I really like this one. This is a great price for this much of the white glue for kids. So I think, you know, compared to Elmer's, this is great. And it's a huge bottle. Yeah, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe. Comment down below if you've tried any of these and which ones you like, which ones you didn't like, your favorite, whatever, and I'd love to find out. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.